What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? Got you guys a new video today.
Yes,
I haven't done
sir.
one of these in a little bit. We're doing the top 5 junglers. We're gonna go through top 5s. We did the tier list right before this last patch hit, with the new god basically being, it's announced, and we don't know the specifics, but coming out soon. I want to cover what you should play up until then, and since it's a new god patch, I don't expect too many crazy shifts in the meta, so I think this will just be a good time to drop these. Don't want to waste y'all's time. We'll get into it. I lied. I want to waste time a little bit. Corsair dropped a new, I don't know, my ears poking a lot. Dropped a new headset today. PC, console, whatever, anyone can use it. It's just an audio main headset. It has a mic that attaches to it, but this is like high quality audio. It's not wireless, it's not RGB. There's no branding on the actual ear. It's open back. This competes with like the DT990s, your Sennheisers, all your other stuff. I like it a lot. That's why I'm mentioning it. I wouldn't even waste the time to tell you guys. It's probably my favorite headset I've ever had out of 20, 30 different really high-end headsets. So if you're looking for, you're in that market, link will be below. If not, it's all good. You do you, okay? Top 5 junglers. One of them is not an assassin. The rest are assassins. My number 5 is 2. I'm kind of 2. I couldn't pick between them to decide one's this 5, one is 6. My 2 at number 5 are Thanatos and Susano. I'm a mix between the two because I have an issue with both. Thanatos is hyper aggressive and still risky. Nowhere near as risky as he was for 5-6 years. The first 5-6 years of Smite. He's in a really good place right now, but it is still a risky god where if your mechanics are lacking or you're just having an off game, it'll turn the game to trash really, really quickly. But reverse side, if you're even, hitting normal abilities, or like you're hitting abilities at a normal rate, or you're hitting everything, then you kind of start to just take over and dominate the game a lot easier than a lot of these other gods do. So that's why I have him where I do. I think the builds really favor him. If you've seen the rank 1 Thanatos video, if you haven't and you play Thanatos, you should watch it. But he runs a Golden Blade build, which just changes up the pace of Thanatos. He can farm with the best of them while still being able to fight. It's kind of a crazy build. It's fun to run, so definitely recommend that. And then the other one is Susano, I said, for number 5, and it's almost, I wouldn't say the reverse of being hyper risky and everything, but he plays a lot safer almost. But the only way he can dominate a game is if your mechanics are flawless. If they're, your auto attack canceling correctly, or you're in the right place at the wrong time, the right time, using your abilities on the right targets, it becomes much more calculated than a god like Thanatos, where Thanatos just kind of runs it down and executes somebody. So that's why I'm between these two, and I would say this 5 slot would go to a different god based on the player, based on your experience between the two, how you play the game, and those kind of things. So if you have an aggressive, risk it to get the biscuit play style, play Thanatos. If you have a slower pace team fight, just kill the one guy and worry about the one guy and get out, and then just work the farming type thing, Susano. But you have to be able to AA cancel. If you don't know what AA canceling is, auto attack canceling, it's pretty much automatic now in Susano. It's very, very easy to do. They simplified it just so the masses could compete, and I have a video on it, so you just watch that. So Susano, and outside of all of that, I'm gonna bring up Smite source for you guys. I have builds updated for a lot of gods, and these gods for sure. Susano's a weird one. This is why I'm doing him first instead of Thanatos. I still have Jotuns and Transcendence first. With Susano, I'm not a fan of Transcendence first item in ranked. You fight too much to get value out of Transcendence. You don't end up getting the cooldown until the 10 to 12 minute mark, and that's 10 to 12 minutes of you not having cooldown, where if you go Jotuns first, you get that. But because of the new Shaman buff that gives you 10% cooldown, I don't really like going Jotuns. It's going to get sold. It's going to lose its value very quickly. So I'm kind of in a weird spot with my builds, or Susano specifically. Almost every other god I feel comfortable with a lot of different things. You can run Jotuns first at a Transcendence. You can keep running Transcendence. You can run a lot of things. I think a big thing to note is the power on an item like Transcendence is still very high, but an item like Jotuns and Hydras and even Crusher is kind of lower. Erendite is something I'm going to start trying to build into a god like this, and if you get the time to test it, try it out, that would be over like a Jotun slot. It just makes it weird buying a first item. I don't like Transcendence first item, but nothing else is a great first item, because like Golden Blade is the other first item for some gods. I don't know. I'm at a weird spot, but this is still a very strong build. It's just not my cup of tea. So you'll hear me say, I hate Transcendence first. Why are you still building it? I'll say that a lot. Susano's the one god I'm just not sure of what I want built on him yet, what feels right. Then for Thanatos' builds, I did just update his as well to the rank 1 Jungler's build. And here it is. You're going bow, you are still getting golden blade. I've tested the gooseberries over the golden blade and I don't like it. It's too slow, it just doesn't feel right. Bow feels way better, especially since you're mainly just spamming your throwing your one out for damage. This build crushes. And if you're like, well, why rage? It's because into the later game, when you engage on Thanatos, you usually blink, silence, auto, one auto. So that gives you 2 potential rage procs off of Hydra's procs, so they're very, very big. On top of that, stacked rage is 45 power. It's besides Transcendence and Erendite, I'm pretty sure it's the highest power item in the game. So that's why. You also have a really good sustain off of the Blood Forge, and if you get that execute, you get the shield, which is just a crazy combo. And in the hyper late game, I know the rank 1 Thanatos, if you watch the video, he really likes keeping golden blades so he can do kind of these big AoE sweeping autos while they're pushing and being aggressive and trying to take phoenixes and stuff. You can sell golden blade for Deathbringer if a lot of your targeting and everything is just one person. It's just drop that item in the hyper late game. So here is the Thanatos build for those of you who are looking for it. And next up, we go to our number 4, which number 4 should be that surprising. It's Bastet. If you look at my tier list, this kind of follows along with a lot of the tier lists as well. Bastet peaked really hard like 2 months ago. In my coaching Discord, I was telling people, like, if you guys are jungling, just play Bastet. Just trust me, play Bastet. Here's the build. You'll win all your games. People don't know how to deal with it. It's a crazy amount of damage. It's really easy to play. The abilities are really easy to hit. Really, the biggest issue with Bastet is people using the ult in weird ways. I see a lot of people just really poorly use the ult. The ult should be, you know, I can catch this guy and pull him because his beads are down and kill him, or it should just be thrown in through your rotation of abilities. So like a lot of the time, I just use the ult right on top of somebody. I'll jump on them, I use my kit, I'll have nothing left but autos for a few seconds, so I throw the ult out to, you know, just fill that gap of time. She's just very good, and she's very good into most of the gods that are being played in this current Smite meta. Almost every mage can be handled by Bastet. I love Bastet in the Janus, which is a god that is played almost every game. Bastet just ruins Janus' life. If you're wondering how, it's very easy to like lock down and keep a Janus out of his portals because of your 3. Your 3's mini root is super valuable, and the extra body block you get from the cat is crazy. They buffed the cat so it has 3 little circles of life. Basically, it has to hit it 3 times. That makes it even harder to deal with the cat. On top of that, you have a leap, and it's a pretty solid leap that doesn't put you in a bad spot. So you're able to follow the Janus through most portals that he'll take. So I liked him in the, you know, Bastet in the Janus. I like it into pretty much every mage. Works in Raijin, works on Ra, works on so many of these gods that I see a lot of. So do recommend. Also dives Thoth very, very, you know, at a real, just in a good way. So I love Bastet. You kill squishies very, very fast. You have solid CC. You're very annoying, which is a good thing to have coming out of your assassin jungler. And then for Bastet, here is your, if you guys ever need the builds, by the way, you can just pop on here and grab them yourself. If not, you know, use the video, whatever floats your boat. Here is the Bastet, the Bastet build. Notice with Bastet, I swapped up, talking about Susano, I wasn't sure about the build. I swapped the build up, the order. I do not like Transcendence first. And if you're wondering, I want to explain why, since I talked about it already. I mentioned the 12-minute mark is usually when you finish Transcendence. That's if you're having a normal game. If you're having a bad game, 15 minutes. That means you get no cooldown until the 15-minute mark on a high ability god that you want cooldown on. So that's why I built it second. You finish it very quickly at this stage in the game, because at this stage in the game, you can bounce around and take waves very, very easily, very quickly. At that stage of the game, you're talking like 15 minutes, people will die in a lane or you'll lose a fight, and you can just go farm for a little bit and stack that up instantly. Also, your abilities are maxed, so you're just insta-clearing as well. The Soul Eater. Soul Eater is crazy on this god because of your passive giving you lifesteal. Pair Soul Eater with Serrated, and anytime you get poked, you can go over to a speed camp or something, blue camp, whatever, back camp, and full heal. You will full heal off of it. So there's a lot of value in pairing these items together. On top of that, stack Soul Eater is 40 power. 40 power is more than most of the physical items in the game at this point. So it's not low power like a lot of people make it out to be. It has crazy good stats. It has flat pen, so that's good having it in the first slot. I love Soul Eater in the slot. Then you pair it with Transcendence, you get 2 fairly high power items, then you go right into percent pen. It just works out. Crusher to stack on top of your bleed damage and all your damage, and plus you're hitting 4 damaging abilities. Your 4 damaging abilities, none of them are, you know, not doing damage. So you get Crusher proc on all those. Same for the Heartseeker. Very, very strong god. Now I'm talking about gods, I want to mention something before we swap off of Bastet. Stop going the slowing blink and go Scorching Blink. Scorching Blink, when used properly, so it's like an Agni dash. it does up to 800 damage. And if you have any kind of CC off of your blink, so you know, Bastet your blink rooting, or somebody your blink stunning, or whatever it is knocking up, that Scorching Blink is going to do as much damage as an ability. So build Scorching Blink, please. Like please, it is very, very, very good. I just see it a lot lately, so I have to mention it. So that's number 4. Number 3 on our list is going to be our only non-assassin. It is Ao Kuang, which I don't think is surprising whatsoever. An execute god with high mobility. We're in a meta where mages are still hitting very hard, so the build definitely they're going to favor into mages, and still being able to hit high power. There's a lot of variety in the build. Lifesteal works, cooldown works, a couple auto attack items work. I have my build that I like. I know El Leon, who's the rank 1 Ao Kuang. We're going to do a video with him soon because he's just a beast. He runs some auto attack items, and I haven't seen him play Ao Kuang yet. So I'm actually excited to watch it because I'll probably end up liking his build better. That's just what happens when I watch these really, really good players play. It gets me excited to play the god and try out a new build. So Ao Kuang is number 3 on our list. Playstyle is just really good. It works insanely in team fights, isn't countered by very much. People aren't building Erendite, so they can't really deal with you going into stealth. They aren't playing anti-stealth gods because gods like Ho Yi are really weak right now. So he just works. He's good at ganking. He's good at team fighting. He's good at farming. Good at objective burn. Pretty much does it all. I think the biggest thing I like about him, though, is his execute. You guarantee are able to kill the support or solo 90% of the time, because only a little bit of the time are they ever building beats. It's very, very rare in a ranked game for your support or solo to build beats. They just don't want to do it. So that's why I like Ao Kuang. For the build, like I said, I like a mage build. I will add that AA build from El Leon whenever I see it, but I go build basically like this. I like the Doom Orb for the movement speed. It's also really high power. Spear of Deso is just overpowered, to be honest. It's so strong right now. One of the highest flat pen items you can get as well. I then pair it with Soul Gem, so I get a little bit more cooldown online. Remember, at this point, I'm usually having that Shaman buff, so you'll hit 40% pen with a red pot and a Shaman buff. Rada Tahuti, Calamitous, you get the extra ability damage, or extra damage from Calamitous, is basically an extra ability, and just a ton of power, and you get a little bit of percent pen. And I pair it with the Typhon's Fang, because Typhon's Fang is nuts right now. If you've never, most people don't know, they don't even read the passive on an item like this. So your magical lifesteal is increased by 15%. You're healing from it, sorry. You're healing from it, not your actual lifesteal percentage. And then your magic power is increased by twice the amount of your magical lifesteal you have. So Typhon's Fang has 10%, and then Soul Gem has 8%, so it's 18%. Double it, you get 36 power just off of this. So this item, so Typhon's, is actually giving you 101 power. With just that, you can always, you know, tweak the build however you want it. But I like this build a lot, and 1 lifesteal item I don't feel. 2 lifesteal items is where I start to feel that as a, you know, I can out sustain a couple people in fights, or if I leave a fight a little poked, I can go heal to full out of it. It just feels really good to me. Like I said, once I try the build that he's running with a couple AA items, I will, and I, you know, it's working. I like it. I'm gonna throw it up there. So be prepared for that. Number 2 on our list, there's no way this should surprise you. Pele got overbuffed in the last patch. The mini patch after, they nerfed her a little bit, but it was just a very slight nerf. They didn't over nerf any of the gods that they buffed. She's performing very, very well. She's good. Basically the change was her 1 builds her fuel. Her fuel is what you burn down when you're using your 3. So essentially you can run around with your 3 on its max power, max speed for a lot longer, because you're able to build that fuel back up twice, just to full, almost instantly. Obviously with the nerf, they made it build up slower, but you can run around for a long time and do a lot in team fights, and it's a lot of extra damage. It's just sustained damage on top of you that people don't realize. They can't really assume the damage coming in because they're also eating CC and other abilities from you. So Pele is performing well. It's also a knockup god. Most knockup gods are just overly strong, and her whole kit, if you were to dump her whole kit, it is doing more than 100% of someone's HP. Just straight up, she's 100-0ing somebody very, very easily. Her big issues, I would say, are once you're usually in, so it's hard to live. But with the way everything's kind of flowing and how quickly you kill and the mass AoE damage, there's a lot of times where you take 2 out with you, or you won't even die because you'll insta-kill that first person so fast. So she's just working really well. Plus, most people in ranked are not grouping very well, so she just picks teams apart when they're not grouped. That's why I have Pele where I have Pele, and we'll go over Pele's build. So Pele's build is similar to the Bastet build, except for I don't really like Transcendence on Pele, that you can build Transcendence in the slot. I really like the double lifesteal. I love Soul Eater. I go Erendite because I think it just pairs well with the ultimate. It's literally flawless for the ultimate. It also gets you that cooldown online a little bit earlier, so you're able to spam a little bit more. With most of these ability junglers, it's super easy for you to tweak the build. There's no build I'll say is wrong, like even Transcendence First and some of these gods. I don't like it, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's still a power, you know, cooldown item. I think you're just missing out on a lot when you do that. But all the other items just favor Pele doing damage. You can also build Magi's on a lot of these gods if you're getting CC'd. And really, they just pump. I mean, there's a lot of gods right now in Smite that are good. Both assassins, mages, hunters. A lot of gods are just very good in Smite right now and are performing at kind of crazy levels. Even after all the items were nerfed. So while I don't like, you know, in my head, I don't like a lot of these builds, it doesn't mean that the build is bad or it does no damage. It's just not to my liking. So we'll figure it out. I'll test some more stuff, but those builds definitely work, and those are builds I have run at high level ranked. And then last on our list, this is obvious. Arachne's the highest winning god in the game. She went from complete trash, really. For years and years and years, she was number one, by the way. Even when she wasn't that good at competitive or high level ranked, she was one of the highest winning gods pretty much of all time because she just farms bad players by WK. I thought when they buffed her, it was bad buffs. I didn't think it was enough. They made it so her 3 at max rank gives an extra spider. They made it so her ult has a longer jump distance, essentially, so you can go farther out of your ult. And then they made it so the 2 only takes 2 autos to stun somebody. This was the big one. And then I see people comment all the time, Weekend, why, you know, you said Iraqis shades weren't gonna do anything. Well, it isn't just that they made this 2 basics. You know, I processed this and I didn't think it would be that valuable, but I didn't think about the fact that Arachne's hit chain, the way it works is you get a quick auto into a regular auto, right? So it's like boom, boom. And then the third auto is another full swing timer. So the gap between these two, you feel it, right? You feel the wind up and the slam, where on the first 2, it's so fast on the first one, they don't feel it. It's almost, especially with your 2 popped, it's like an instant double auto. So that stun is instant. Before, when it was 3 autos, you know, you get these 2 quick autos off, but then that third one, they react to it. They, you know, they get their CC off, they get some damage off. You know, you don't have the full advantage of insta CCing them while doing damage, and they have to react to that. It's kind of shared between the 2 of you. Now with the change, there's no reacting to it. They're stunned so quickly that most people can't leap away, they can't push you back, they can't CC you, they can't do damage, they can't do anything. They just eat the stun, and then they gotta decide whether they want to beads it or not. And most people don't, but you do so much damage with a full build that you kill people in the stun and they're dead and they don't know what happened. It's actually super overpowered right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Arachne is also a great objective killer. She can solo pyro very easily, and if you get 3 spiders down before you pull gold, you can actually solo gold. Not many gods can solo gold. It's a solo gold in current Smite. It takes a lot of lifesteal, usually a lot of auto attacks, and a lot of crit. Arachne doesn't need crit, doesn't need lifesteal because the spiders can tank the gold fury for you, and you just do a ton of damage. And then pyro is super free. So pyro is, you need 1 spider and you can do pyro. It's kind of a joke, especially with the build you'll be seeing, which is, let's pull that up. Boom, got Arachne. I did update Iraqis build. So this is the build I've been running. The biggest thing with this build that I have to mention, this is like the standard build. I think mannequins, in my experience, has been much better than protector. So I will probably change this to mannequins. I don't think protector is bad. I do think protector is actually very good. I just like mannequins more. This is with the gooseberries, by the way. You are going into the golden gooseberries because you're not going golden blade. Vital amplifier has gained its value back because you don't have to go golden blade, so you can get crazy stats off of this item. You're getting 4 stat items are always really good. 4 stats items with a passive are wild. So you got 30 power, 150 HP, and MP5. Those stats are just solid by themselves. You get 20% attack speed, which is great. But then the passive is you get another 10% attack speed and 5% basic attack damage for 6 seconds, stacking 3 times. So when you won, it's going to heal you multiple times. You're going to get 30% more attack speed, and you're going to get 15% basic attack damage. So your autos are going to spike up in damage. You're going to get 50 attack speed, 50% attack speed from this item, which is the most attack speed you're going to get from any item, really. Maybe not some of the starters, but it's crazy. Like the raw stats on this item are nuts. You're rushing into kins because you want to make the most out of those autos that you have pumping out. especially since that attack speed is way higher than it should be at this stage of the game. And this will allow you to kill squishies in, you know, very, very fast in those stuns. Then we're going pen, then we're going silver branch because it's really easy to hit the stacks with these items. And then we're going blood forge. So when late game we do full commit to somebody and we get that kill, whether it's off of your ult or just off of your autos, you get that shield, you're able to survive. Super simple, to be honest. But like I said, I like mannequins into mannequin mace. I've left it like this because I think this is safer and simpler for a lot of players, but I do believe mannequin mace is just the go-to. It's noticeably better to me. And I always thought the biggest thing that I thought I would leave eye up for you guys for was for jungle clear, but I think mannequins is better jungle clear. So that's where I'm at on arachne. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you're you know, running any of this and having good or bad experiences, tell me. I want to know how the game, you know, how Smite's been for you guys with this patch. I know it's a busy time of the year. A lot of people are back to school, back to work, you know, just a lot's going on. What happens around, you know, this time every year. So maybe some of you guys have just been watching, haven't played yet. When you do get on to play, try these gods. Just let me know how they're going. Hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you all in the video later tomorrow, the next day, and the next day.